So getting started with some shoulder rolls. So rolling your shoulders back and then rolling them forwards again. And then with this one we're thinking about looking up and pressing up. So you're really trying to open up your rib cage or your thoracic spine. So you push down, press down as you look down and look up as you press up, but almost try and press behind you. So you're really trying to open up that thoracic spine, which will really help with everything you do with the kettlebells. And again with this one, what you're thinking about is trying to push your palms forwards, fingers face up, push your palms backwards, fingers face down. And again, just really trying to open up the shoulders as much as possible. So these exercises might look like Tai Chi, but they are also a set of nerve glides. So with this one, think about bending your head to your side, and then take your arm over, and then your arm back, and then your head back. So these really help increase the flexibility in the muscles around the neck, but say if the muscles around the neck get tight, they can cause all sorts of problems, so it's best to start with them nice and loose in the first place. So we're going to do about 5 on each side. So again, head over, then arm over, arm back, and then head back. Right, so with this one, think about trying to rotate as far apart as you can. So you're really trying to open up the shoulders, and then you try and rotate them inwards and press your fingers behind. So with this one, palms stay facing up throughout. And then with this one, try and get your hand flat against the wall if you can, and then bend your head from side to side. So this is actually a radial nerve glide, but say sometimes if you get any problems with biceps or down the front of the arm, this can help with it. But as I say, it's good to make sure that the whole shoulder girdle and the neck is nice and loose before you start doing anything with the kettlebells. Because if they're already tight to start with, they'll be tighter afterwards. So again, with this one, think about just trying to get some rotation. So you lead with your head, so turn your head and then let your body follow. And then reaching up and over. So this one, just trying to stretch out the sides or your QL, and then we'll take these into some lat stretches as well. So a lat stretch is very similar to a tricep stretch. So you hold the arm and then side bend over, and you'll feel a stretch all the way down the side from your arm down towards your hip. But again, it's really important to be able to get your arms overhead and locked out, and if the lats are tight, then it'll be hard to do that, basically. So spend as long as you need to getting these nice and loose. And some lunges next, trying to open up the hips. So with this one, try and think about keeping your knee behind your hip, keep your body upright, so the body wants to stay vertical the whole time. So tummy tight, squeeze your bum on the backward leg. And again, step nice and wide so you've got a good, nice, stable base of support. Then taking this into the Spiderman exercise. So this one, the forward foot, you want your foot flat on the floor, so you want your heel flat on the floor, because you're trying to stretch out your ankles as well, but you'll stretch everything with this one. So you're trying to stretch out your quads, your hip flexors, your adductors, your hamstrings might even get a stretch if they're a bit tight, and your glutes. But again, it's just a dynamic stretch, so keep on stepping, keep on moving. Think about pushing your bum down into the floor, keep your head high to increase the stretch. And then going back to lunges, but this time we're looking up and across and reaching up and across, but really trying to open up the hips. I'm trying to get the hip flexors nice and loose. So we need some bands in a minute. So ideally you'll have 3 bands set up. So you want to think about a lighter one, a heavier one, and then a very light one. So we're going to do some wood chops. So with this one, think about having your feet stood in a box. So you've got your front foot is in the front corner, rear foot in the rear corner, and you want the same leg back as the side is the anchor is on. So if your anchor is on your left side, you want your left leg back, and vice versa. And again, lead with your head, let your body follow. So try and turn your head and then let your body follow. Make sure your knees stay bent so you're not locking the legs out and rotating through the hips. Try and get some rotation through your torso as well. And then again, so 10 on the other side. So just aiming for about 10 on each side, just trying to get the core muscles engaged. And then the next exercise, you're going to stand on one leg. So it's a running man exercise. So you're going to stand on one leg. You're going to hold your resistance band in the opposite arm to the leg that you're standing on. So say with this one you want a heavier grade really. You can always double up bands to make them stronger. So again with this one, think about basically trying to keep your foot on the floor, lift your toes up so you create an arch in your foot. Try and keep your shoulder pulled in, reach your arm forward as you bend forwards, and then try and stand up and then make the pull towards the end of the movement. So make sure you stood upright, so you use your glutes first, and then pull your arm in at the end. And again with these, just going to aim for about 10 on each side. And then after these, you'll want your lighter band for the rotator cuff exercises. Again, same on the other side. Remember your watch points. Make sure you try and lift your toe up to try and create the arch in your foot. And then keep a small bend at the knee on the standing leg. Try and take the other leg up towards the ceiling. And try and keep your toes pointing down so you're not rotating at the hips. So again, so the next exercise you want to think about having that light band set up. And we're going to do the exercise lying on your back. So the idea of that, if you're lying on your back, then you'll have good posture. Your head is flat on the floor, so you don't need to worry about posture when you're standing. And then think about when you are flat on the floor, the connection with your shoulder blade and the mat. Try and squeeze both shoulder blades down into the mat. And then you try and rotate. So you're basically just pulling the resistance band across the body and try and keep that same angle at the arm the whole way through. So you shouldn't be bending or straightening the arm more than it is. You try and start with a 90-degree bend and try and rotate as far as you possibly can, but being conscious of where that shoulder blade is. So as you come back, make sure the shoulder blade stays on the floor. So you've got to keep the rhomboids engaged in order to get the rotator cuff muscles working. And again, with this one, aim somewhere between 10 and 15 on each side. If you can do 15 easily, then you probably want a heavier band. And then again, quick spin round, and then do the other side. And then after we've done these, then we're ready to get going. So another little watch point when you do these is try and make sure that the neck stays nice and relaxed. It's a good indication of when you fatigue. If you feel your neck starting to work, and you can't control that by holding your shoulders down, then that's probably the end of the set. Right, we're ready to go.